Hello, and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some breaking news coming out from Iran that I want to share with you, and I have some more updates as to whether Iran is going to attack Israel. We've all been waiting well over a week. Nothing has happened yet, and even another weekend has passed, and we still have not seen a strike coming from Iran onto Israel. And we know that they want to retaliate for the killing of Ismail Haniyeh just like a week and a half ago, inside of Tehran, the capital, where he was assassinated, a top Hamas leader. And apparently, this was Israel that did this. So Iran wants to retaliate, launching potentially hundreds, if not thousands, of ballistic missiles and drones onto Israel, and also Iranian-backed proxy groups around the Middle East, like Hezbollah, the Houthis, and some of the groups in Iraq and Syria want to attack at the same time, potentially. Okay, so I've got some information that shows here this attack could be taking place this week. There's actually a number of days this week where it could happen. We've got lots of information that could potentially prove that. But one of these big stories that has come out is Iran's ambassador to the UN basically admitted that an attack on Israel will commence this week. And what he said at a UN Security Council meeting, they were meeting on Friday, I believe, and this was reported on Saturday, yesterday, August 10th. And he said, however, we hope that our response will be timed and conducted in a manner not to the detriment of the potential ceasefire. And this is what the mission said when asked if Iran could delay its retaliation after negotiations. Okay, so he was basically asked if Iran could delay their retaliation after negotiations take place between Israel and Hamas. Okay, and we know that starting on Thursday, Israel and Hamas are supposed to meet again, either in Cairo, Egypt, or I believe in Doha, Qatar, and they're supposed to start negotiations again and see if they can get to a ceasefire, because I heard that Yahya Sinwar, the newly elected Hamas leader, was basically reporting that he was ready for a ceasefire and to end the war in the Gaza Strip. So could it happen? Maybe. But based on what we've been seeing with Israel and Hamas in past negotiations, is that there never is any ceasefire that takes place. This war just grinds on and grinds on. And Israel obviously wants to dismantle Hamas and eliminate them completely. We've seen that time and time again. So I want to talk some more about this today, and we'll bring you some more updates as well coming from X as to whether this attack is going to take place here very soon. I'll show you some information that could indicate we could see an attack coming from Iran sometime this week. Okay, so let me share this with you. On the Times of Israel, Iran's UN mission, hoping our response won't be detriment of potential ceasefire. Tehran says establishing lasting halt to Gaza fighting a priority. Senior IRGC officer says we'll carry out Khamenei's orders to inflict harsh punishment of Haniyeh killing. Okay, so the IRGC has been repeatedly coming out and saying they are just waiting for Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei to give the orders to attack Israel, and they will go ahead and carry out their attack. Iran is set to carry out an order by Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei to harshly punish Israel over the assassination of Hamas leader in Tehran. An Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps deputy commander was quoted as saying on Friday by local news agencies, the Supreme Leader's orders regarding the harsh punishment of Israel and revenge for the blood of martyr Ismail Haniyeh are clear and explicit, and they will be implemented in the best possible way, said Ali Fadavi, cited by Iranian media. Iran and the Palestinian Islamist terror group Hamas accuse Israel of carrying out Haniyeh's assassination on July 31st. Israel has not claimed or not denied responsibility for the killing, which has fueled further concern, that the war between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip was turning into a wider Middle East conflict. Asked by reporters to respond to Fadavi's remarks, White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby said the U.S. was ready to defend Israel with plenty of resources in the region, adding, when we hear rhetoric like that, we've got to take it seriously, and we do. Iran's mission to the United Nations said later on Friday that Tehran's response to Israel's assassination of Haniyeh was a matter totally unrelated to efforts to broker a ceasefire in the 10-month war between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip. However, we hope that our response will be timed and conducted in a manner not to the detriment of the potential ceasefire, the mission said when asked if Iran could delay its retaliation until after hostage for ceasefire negotiations next week. Okay, so he was asked again if they could delay their response and retaliate after negotiations take place. So this would probably a week or 2 weeks from now is probably when that would happen. And he basically said, well, we hope that our response will be timed and conducted in a manner that will not disrupt the potential ceasefire. But he tried to make clear that the attack coming from Iran in regards to Ismail Haniyeh, the top Hamas leader, being killed in Iran, was not in any way related to what's going on down in the Gaza Strip with Israel and Hamas, that it was totally separate, that it was their beef with Israel, that they wanted to attack Israel, and that was it. So we will see if they carry out this attack. We have no idea if it's coming, but I wanted to share that with you because I thought that was a very good report that could indicate we could potentially see an attack coming from Iran sometime this week, especially if they're saying, we hope it doesn't disrupt the ceasefire. Now, if this attack were to take place, let's say tomorrow, and the ceasefires are negotiations taking place on Thursday, could that disrupt it? Maybe it could, maybe it won't. But definitely, if this attack takes place over a number of days, which I'm going to show you some information that indicates it could be several days of attacks. It could be maybe 3 to 4 days, and we'll see that in just a moment. That it could definitely disrupt some of the ceasefire talks. So we'll see what happens here. But let me share some information now. Let's jump over on X. I've got just a few things here to share with you. This came out 2 days ago, but I wanted to show you this, okay, from Bricks News on X. Just in, Russia bans all flights from flying in Israeli airspace at night for 7 days, okay? So at night, we expect this attack to take place in the evening, just like last time back in April, and Russia banned all flights from Israeli airspace for the next 7 days, okay? Why would Russia do this? Russia is an ally to Iran, and if they were to ban flights for the next 7 days, that means that an attack could definitely take place. So that's a major sign there, major concern that Iran could be carrying out this attack sometime this week, okay? So the 9th was on Friday. So from Friday of last week until Friday of this week, which is a day after the negotiations take place on Thursday, okay? So we'll see what happens in regards to that. Also, look at this. I talked about this probably about a week ago when we were originally talking about this attack taking place from Iran. We thought it was coming very soon. Okay, this came out on August 6th. Okay, look at this from Turkish News. Iran will likely attack Israel on August 12th to the 13th. August 12th to the 13th is Tisha B'Av. I don't know if it's B'Av, I'm pronouncing that right, in Israel. Watch out for these 2 days, okay? So on the 12th and the 13th, which is Monday and Tuesday of this week, this attack could take place even on these holidays, a major Jewish holiday, or an Israeli holiday, and we'll see what happens. But this is something that was being talked about a lot as well, that Iran could carry out their attack on this date, maybe starting on the 12th. So I don't see it happening again. I don't see Iran attacking during the week. I see this happening over the weekend, either like either Friday or Saturday leading into a Sunday is when I would think this would take place. But who knows? We'll have to see what Iran decides to do. And look at this as well. This came out just yesterday on August 10th. CNN citing the Pentagon from current report. In the next 72 hours, Iran and its allies will launch a large-scale attack on Israel. The leader of Hamas in Lebanon told the media that an attack on Israel could begin in the coming hours, okay? So can't completely verify whether this is going to be taking place in the next 72 hours, but leader of Hamas in Lebanon telling media that an attack on Israel could begin in the coming hours. And again, this lines up with this other post that we just had here on the 12th and the 13th. So is it going to take place here in the next day or so? If it does, I feel like if we see an attack happening Monday through Friday, that Iran is expecting a major war to break out in the Middle East. And the reason why I say that is I've mentioned this numerous times on this channel. If an attack takes place over the weekend, they're doing this on purpose to not affect markets around the world. That way everybody can kind of go back to normal on Monday. But if this happens during the middle of the week, especially in the Middle East, considering that the Middle East is very sensitive to markets around the world, especially oil prices, that we could see a major crash in the stock market happening. And I would think that if Iran was going to carry this out and expect some sort of major response coming from the U.S. and Israel afterwards, that they would probably do this during the week if they really didn't care whether they were going to war the next day or not, a major war breaking out in the Middle East. So that was just something that I kind of came up with. You guys can let me know what you think down below as to when Iran would potentially attack or not. So also, from current reports, Iran's UN mission, regardless of whether there is a ceasefire in Gaza or not, an Iranian attack on Israel will be inevitable. So, again, from Iran's ambassador to the UN, this is what he stated as well. Okay, so an attack is inevitable coming from Iran, whether there is a ceasefire in Gaza or not. So again, it is completely unrelated between the ceasefire talks happening with Hamas and Israel, and they will attack separate from that situation going on down there. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you. A couple more things here from Megatron Ron. It says new. Israel received the green light and support from Jordan to use their airspace. Iran was banned. A Jordanian official has confirmed that his country will allow Israel to use its airspace to counter an Iranian attack, according to Israeli Channel 12. Okay, so this is big news because we heard from Jordan just last week that they were not going to allow Israel to use their airspace, and they basically said they were going to sit this one out. They weren't going to get involved if this attack was going to take place from Iran. Now we're seeing a 180, and I'm also hearing that multiple other nations, we'll go over a post here, I think, in just a moment, could also step in as well, even countries that said they didn't want to be involved in this, and Jordan was one of the big ones that came out. I think even Egypt, too, was saying they didn't want to be involved in this. So let me show you a few more things here. It says here, from current report, member of the National Security Commission of the Iranian parliament claims air operations to Israel may last 3 to 4 days. Okay, so if they're going to attack, this is from IRNA News Agency, by the way, if they're going to attack, this is going to potentially take place over a number of days. And we heard this just about a week ago when I originally started to report on this story, that if this attack was going to happen, we were going to see a consecutive multiple day attack coming from Iran. I think we may see like maybe an attack on the first day from Iran and Hezbollah, and then maybe Hezbollah and the Houthis will follow up the next day, and then also the Iranian-backed groups in Iraq and Syria may also start attacking, and it could happen over a number of days. So just imagine this is going to be much worse than what we saw back in April, okay? Back in April when Iran, and it was mainly Iran and Hezbollah that attacked Israel, it was still a very massive attack with lots of drones and missiles targeting Israel. But this time around, it could be much bigger, okay? Considering it's going to last 3 to 4 days, looks like they're just going to be under heavy bombardment consistently for almost like half a week, right? So also, let me show you this final thing from OZNT Defender. According to Axios, the US, UK, Israel, France, and several Arab nations are now finalizing their plans and preparations to defend against a large-scale Iranian and or Hezbollah attack against Israel, with intense diplomacy going on behind the scenes in an attempt to prevent the attack. Okay, so yes, definitely the U.S. is working very hard behind the scenes. We've seen this time and time again. They're trying really, really hard to prevent this attack from taking place. I even heard some unconfirmed reports that the United States was willing to drop like certain sanctions against Iran, and basically bowing to them in other terms, and to try to do whatever they can to prevent this war from breaking out over here. Because if they do attack Israel, especially to the extent that we're expecting them to, I don't see Israel just not doing anything like last time. I see them going after Iran very hard, which will obviously push for a major war in the Middle East if they do so. So I just wanted to share some of these details here with you today, just give you a quick update as to what's going on over here in the Middle East. We haven't been talking about it too much. The Ukraine war and the Kursk region pushing into Russia, we've been talking a lot about that. That's been definitely taking the highlight of news right now. But I still want to cover this because we don't know when this attack is going to take place. And we know for sure that Iran has come out many times and said this attack will happen. It'll be a surprise attack, and nobody will be expecting that it's coming. So that's why we are seeing this delay happening, because that way people will kind of slowly back off and be like, you know what, I don't think Iran's going to do this. A lot of people think that they're just bluffing here, that they won't carry out this attack, but we don't know for sure. This could definitely come at any moment. So let me know what you think down below. That's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope y'all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.